Yes.
Is really having a hell of a change. Police injustice. Robbing
You need to send me any. You need to send me an email.
Going on?
And I'm going to be running my party.
Do you think it's yeah, the microphones too.
So that way I can microphone, because there are some things that you can get.
Yes, in the green bag. It looks like,
And they're very. You know,
I actually don't have a Twitter account.
You know, this is those are bottom of the food chain, especially spirulina. It's not that really.
I've never not bad. Not very tasty.
Yeah. But you know, the face is the longest one. Good to see you.
The suitcase smells so good.
I know, right?
Don't phone me, turn our
All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here. My name is Robert Caputo. I'm the new president of the Gilbert chapter. I just want everybody to know we are streaming live on YouTube, so just be mindful of your words. I'd like to start by introducing myself. I came here in November of 2013, so just a few months ago. I was actually invited and encouraged by Cynthia. And it was right down the street, and I already knew what Norml was, so I figured, why not go? So I came down here, and I found out when I got here that it was actually the night of the nominations for board members. I didn't really know what that was at the time, but I noticed that was going on. So I observed, and I had a good time, and I was comfortable here, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to come back. Well, before the December meeting, Cynthia was speaking with me and encouraging me further to get on the board. She just thought I had a good energy and that my mind was set on these types of things. So she encouraged me, and I thought about it, and then later she nominated me, and I accepted. I was ready to accept, actually, at that point. So the elections came in December. I made the board. We had a vote. All these board members here were voted on. At the time, we didn't really know our positions or anything. We just sort of had the vote. We knew this was going to be the board. It was close to the new year, so we had a little bit of time to iron all that out. So over the new year, we decided to follow the structure of Robert's Rules of Order. If you're not familiar with the term, it's just your typical president, vice president, et cetera, position chain. It just keeps things more organized. I even noticed when I came here the first time, I didn't feel that it was all that organized, which I'm not saying that was a problem, but it's just something that I noticed. And in my career path, I have to be organized, and I know how not being organized causes you to accomplish less in the same amount of time. So the more organized I am personally, the more I can accomplish in the same amount of time. So I kind of like the structure, and that's how we're going to do it. So we went ahead and got together as a board, and we appointed our positions, and we all discussed our abilities and decided if we thought that we were appropriate for each position, and we all felt comfortable with what we were appointed, so we accepted. And so here I am. Thank you. So I thought a lot about what do I want to do as president of Gilbert chapter. And the main thing that I noticed that I felt was lacking was the amount of people that are at the meetings. I know there are way more people in Arizona that support cannabis. And it shouldn't be very difficult for each of us to get a friend or two out here every once in a while and just encourage the conversation. And if you hear people talking about it, encourage it a little more, bring it up a little more. So one thing I would like to do is increase the amount of people at the meetings. Actually, let me back up. More importantly, I don't actually know everybody here. You've all only seen me couple of times. So it is one of my goals to get to know you more, as comfortable as you are letting me get to know you. I'm an open person. I'm not judgmental. I'm very personable. I have no enemies, so I'm very approachable. If anybody ever has any questions or would like to talk to me, discuss your ideas, I'm always open and I'm always willing to hear them and to help. The next thing that I would like to do is encourage memberships to be created. I don't know how many people are members and how many aren't, but I feel like if you've been coming here for a while or someone new comes here and they like what they see and maybe they don't like giving donations or something, they could always consider the idea of the one-time donation of getting their card, becoming a Norml member. And honestly, it's kind of cool just to have it in your wallet. Like I put it next to my ID and every time I open my wallet, it's right there, and you never know when someone might see that, so it's kind of a good idea. It's kind of fun to have. And it helps give us money to expand because we want to do more things like events. We want to hire volunteers. We need more public exposure. And we all have lives and we all spend our money, and not everyone can just throw all their eggs in one basket. So it does help when people can donate. And I would like to encourage donations as well. I've never done that before. I've never asked anybody for donations. I just feel like if we really want to get this done, if we really want to do this in the shortest amount of time, why not throw in a couple bucks to get that extra event, to get that extra public exposure, to make that extra connection with somebody that we wouldn't have otherwise because we didn't have the funding to take advantage of those types of opportunities. So I think it is a good idea. And I'm still learning about how I'm going to do that. I'm not really sure, honestly. Like I said, I've never had to before. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But the next thing that I would like to do is speak to local business owners. I've created a campaign. I won't go into details in this moment, but it's a contributors campaign for businesses. Right now, if you want to be a sponsored member for Norml, you have to pay a fee. You have to pay $50 or $100, which is typical for a sponsorship. But most businesses aren't going to want to just jump right into a topic like this that's so controversial and spend money right up front. They don't really know a lot about it. So what I've come up with is a contributors campaign where they can, for free, help to expand Norml. A couple ideas is they could place our email list at the register. They could place a card that has our meetings at the register, just for one example. So it's free things that they can do to say, I support Norml. I'm a business that supports cannabis. And so I'm going to work on that campaign. I do have some details, but we will get to that later if there's time.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is that tax deductible?
I'm sorry?
Donations tax deductible?
Yes, donations are tax deductible, yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, my final goal, I sort of already touched on it, is to increase our events and our public exposure. There's a lot of stuff that's already going on in Arizona. For example, First Fridays and Second Fridays and farmers markets, and every city has them, and we just need to do a little bit of inquiring and maybe get one booth is better than no booths, So things like that. We just need to look at more avenues. We need to think about places that aren't necessarily associated with cannabis, but maybe the people who do these things are. And I think it's a good idea to get into those types of areas and to think and brainstorm about new areas where where can we really surprise people and just show up and say, hey, we're Norml, and if you really stand out like that, we're going to get a lot more attention, and I think it would be beneficial. So I'll go ahead and stop there in the interest of time. Now I would like to go ahead and have everybody else introduce themselves and their role and what they like to accomplish as a board member. Thank you.
Which end do we start at, Robert?
We'll start with Shiloh. Okay.
I'm Shiloh. I was appointed treasurer. Keeping track of funds, donations, which are important for things such as events. Exposure is important. So I'm treasurer. Shiloh, and keep track of the funds and help further the cause in whatever way I can.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's your part.
Cash, right?
We take cards.
Take cards.
Do we take cards tonight, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, we do. We have swipe. I just have to key
You
in
didn't have your
instead.
swipe? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my swipe thing, but I just key in.
Oh, good, I did bring mine. And all of our books are open.
Right.
And we are, of course, working together. As state treasurer, one. We want to have oversight between subchapters and the main chapter. And we are also looking for, I'm Kathy Inman, hello. I am the state director currently, and I'm also serving as secretary on my hometown board here, and I'm very happy to, you think I should stand up? Okay, James, I'll stand up. Oh wait, here, hold on, only if I can do this. Sorry, you got stuff in there, whoops.
No.
So I'm the secretary, I'm serving to, I keep track of the email list and the memberships here. I also am doing that for the state as state director now. I am looking for a state treasurer. That will be an appointed position because we do want oversight. We want folks, all over. I don't want to have to handle money either. So, we want to have lots of hands, lots of people interested in Norml. If you have the time and you would consider a job like state treasurer, put an application into info@normlainarizona.org because we do need that. I take care of the email list, and one thing that we're going to do to try and boost some of our meetings is to be gathering email addresses while we're out. While folks are collecting, if you're collecting signatures for 2014, maybe you can also keep our email list with you so that we can also be gathering folks into our community because we're all doing different things. Safer's doing stuff, and we're doing stuff. Our focus is voter awareness. And the main reason, I don't have the Map Force one with me, but on the Map Force one, and if you guys don't know who Map Force is, that is our they're our prohibitionists
Yeah, I'll be
here.
giving them a summary here.
Yeah, good. They are our prohibitionists in Arizona as far as, they have a campaign. It was Keep AZ drug-free before. Do you have the one that looks just like this one? Because they've made that one's one of ours also. They made one exactly like this that had the most outlandish information. I couldn't get over it, so I thought, I've got to make one for our side. So I did. So grab one of these, and if you're done using it, when you're done using it, please make sure you know all these facts before you discard it, but when you discard it, put it somewhere where folks will see it. Because I want these, we pay good, normal money for these color ones. You guys know me, I usually go black and white. But this time we went this color because this is the exact replica of Map Force's. Look into Map Force, you guys. Those are the folks that you have to give the truth to. And this is exactly there, so I'm going to pass this around. Michael, I'll start with you. This is Map Force's, and it's the crazy information is on there. And this is ours, and I'll send this one around. You guys can grab. Michael, take that one too. But I want to start circulating those. Again, the donations will pay for more of these to get out into our state because you see what they're putting out. We want to put out the good information and the real information. So we're asking you guys to focus on, for us, for Norml, email lists, getting more folks to our meetings so that we can tell them about voter awareness. Because no matter what we do, if we bring folks to the ballot to vote, this year we're all working together as one community. Yes. If you're collecting signatures, you're also registering voters. That's another thing we're going to be concentrating. I've been told that registering voters is one of the best things we can do. You're getting people excited about voting. Yes, I am personally working on the voter guide, also for the state, because people are so bored with voting. The neatest thing I saw that really validates this point is on the Map Force one, the one that's theirs, with the bad information. You'll see at the upper left, it actually spells out that we had no mandate, that our voters' mandate, it passed by such a slim, narrow margin that we really we're not valid as voters. Basically, they discounted us right away. So what we need to do is have a powerful vote next time. So we want to bring folks into the meetings, and we want to register them to vote. We want to get them excited about voting. So that's what I'm doing as secretary, and I welcome all of you guys to help us.
And I guess I'll stand up too, and we'll do a whole wave going. My name's Dave Inman. I'm vice president of Norml and Gilbert, and my job pretty much is just to keep these guys in line. That they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that we're fluid and actually doing something. We're making changes. We're focusing on the voting. We're focusing on education. And we're putting the good word out. And that's pretty much it.
All right, you know I love this, Kathy. I'm Cynthia Schindel, Inkster. Thanks for being here, by the way, everybody. Thanks for floating in. I'm the volunteer coordinator that was voted in, thanks to Kathy, and everybody else who voted. Thanks very much. What it says here on my paper is it's train volunteers for various volunteer duties, follow up on activities, and coordinating table events. Anytime anybody wants to help with that, great. I'm really up for people helping me. I'm multitasking, and I'm not so great at being the head multitasker, but I'm going to try because this Norml really hits my heart. And I wrote today, if you saw my status today on Facebook, that I have the best friends and the best family, and Norml is a huge part of my new family. And I'm extremely grateful for all the friends I have. And you guys know who is in here that I have just poured my heart out to as a patient. And yeah, I get teary-eyed because there's so many things that are affecting me. But I can't imagine someone who can speak, those people who cannot speak, and those are the people that I really want to stand up for. And it frustrates me to no end that there is a MAC force. However, it's great publicity for us to be able to step in and let them really hear the truth. And so thank you for being here tonight. And please bring a friend. I don't know if we can do something where it's like the luck of the draw. If you bring a friend, you get this or that. Maybe we need to do that. Maybe not. But if people will see that when they see stories like Charlotte's Web or other stories with children, and if you have any that we don't know about, please let us know. Any stories of healing. I'm one of them. I had 7 brain tumors. I'm down to 3. That's since 2010. I had to be taught how to even look at marijuana and know what it was. Honest. So since then, it's been a really great healing process. And we need to have our representatives hear that in Congress. Please let us know if you hear of anything like that. And it would be really neat to even see them come in and speak to the people at Congress. Because what are they going to do? Turn them away? How rude. I don't think so. Yes?
Are you taking oil, Cynthia?
I will be as soon as I can find enough of one of the items. Yeah,
And as soon as it's legal, of course.
Yes, and as soon as juicing, they let that go as a regular thing. But that's what I'm pushing for. So I'm trying to help be here as an advocate that says I'm doing it anyway, and I'm on record saying that. That's fine with me.
I'd like to help you out wherever.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. See, this is the love that we have, and that's why this love needs to be shared. And I am a holy Cancer, I know that. But it says love and flowers and all that. But you know what? This is how people become healed. Is through education. And is through taking the wall, the iron curtain down that we had placed from the late 1930s and the 40s, right? And our kinsmen were told that it was a horrible and terrible drug. I'm so sorry that our families, that our people lied to us. But now we're here to say, okay, the lie is over, and we're here to tell the truth. And that's who I want us all to be in Norml, if we can be. I don't care if you tell one person, you've told a lot. So thank you very much. And anytime we want to volunteer, you're going to be volunteering with me. At tables, great. I'm not a good money taker at all. I do not like to count back. I'm not going to be the one that got the book short. So I will be grateful to have help. But I do like to promote. That was part of one of my careers. So anything we can go do, this table would love for us to hear it. Go somewhere, you guys hear of it, let's go. Courtside, hey, I'll go. I love stones. So thank you very much. And also I brought with me tonight my mentor, and one of my closest friends, really, and my children are loving him, my parents love him, that he keeps an eye on me. This is Michael Weiser, who has done so much work.
I hope to give an update on here on where we are in progress.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you guys want to, where you want to go for this, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so normally we would discuss old business. It's a new year. Pretty much all there is to touch on was that we had the nominations and the elections back in December. Other than that, it's a fresh start. So then I would like to move on to new business. The first thing I would like to discuss with everybody is we would like to know if this day works, if Tuesday works for you guys, if it seems weird to come on a weekday, or if it's too complicated for you guys to sort it out sometimes. We'd like to hear from you guys if you think a weekend would be better or closer to a weekend or anything like that. So does anybody have any opinions or ideas on the day we should have a meeting?
Tuesday works for me.
Okay.
I vote Saturday.
Got anyone?
One of the Saturdays.
Consider Saturday?
I think last Tuesday of the month is good. It's
Okay.
easy to remember.
I'm with those guys.
Okay.
I have an idea for you guys. You're going to start doing a lot of printed material and you're trying to promote. You need to print up, you probably put 5 on a sheet. You need to print up some stuff that you can cut up and then like hand out when you're out doing this. That tells people the date, the time. Because nobody's going to go on Facebook and look.
Right.
There's a few of those
Yeah.
back there. Yeah,
There's only a
they're not
few.
pretty and colorful, but they are little normal.
But definitely, because printed material is so much easier to have that in my wallet pocket or whatever, and I'm walking around or I sleep on my desk at work and I see that and it's a constant reminder. When you're logging on, you're going to 100 different things or whatever, so it's going to get lost in shuffle.
Right.
But definitely, if you're going to spend money on printed stuff, get it out there with the time, the date, and wherever you guys are at, so people know. And it was difficult finding. There's no
Okay.
sign leading you in here, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we do need a map.
Also, we got, more new business.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And you actually gave me an idea, is that we should have a Gilbert chapter card.
We
Yeah,
have
we
it,
can. With the meeting information.
for sure.
Oh, wow, there is that.
Oh, no, there is a card, but it doesn't have the meeting information. We could
Okay.
have the card, we could have that meeting information just on the back of the card. We do have a flyer for our meeting.
Okay,
Those
yeah.
are back there, I've given you a bunch of those. But then, again, they are just the little silly ones that I've been, we do these, actually, Dave did this beautiful thing for Gilbert with our local emblem. But otherwise, these are just things that, we've been throwing together. So the more donations, the more hands we have, the more professional we can. That is important.
That's a good idea. Thank you for saying that.
So the next thing, if we were good with Tuesday, are you guys fine with 7 p.m.? Do you think it should be a little later or a little earlier? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm fine.
It's okay?
Is that an all-in?
Yeah.
We remain on Tuesday. Everybody?
You wanna
Anybody
do it-
opposing?
do you wanna
I'm
do
the
it
only one
Saturday?
asking Saturday. I'm gonna get
What
5
if
in
we
the morning.
do one
but-
Saturday?
Well, it would kind of disenfranchise, I think, if we broke it up. It's better to just focalize.
People would get corn.
Yeah, they get confused. If everybody's in on Tuesday, that's fine. That's beautiful. So Tuesday it is.
Tucson does a Saturday one from 3 to 4:20.
Yeah.
It's cute because you can sleep in, and it's not till 3. But then you can also go and have your evening. So we were kind of, at our board meeting, we were kind of throwing that back and forth.
Yeah, that
See if you
perhaps
guys how you
maybe we
felt
could
about that.
draw
I
in
think
more
we'll get more
people.
people.
Everybody here is available on Tuesday, but perhaps a larger majority of people would be available on an afternoon on a Saturday.
Maybe we can add a fifth
So-
meeting to the.
No bad.
Well, maybe
Saturday,
might
On
work.
Tuesday or a Saturday.
I mean, a fifth meeting.
So
I
should
know
we-
another meeting.
Another meeting.
Well, that's for sure.
More meetings.
Why don't you ask if you were to change it to Saturday, would everybody still here want to do that? So,
That's a wonderful way of putting it.
I like it that way. Thank you.
I'm in no matter what.
Yeah, I have no choice.
I'm here no matter what.
No Saturday?
Unless I'm just stupid.
Just example, it takes away from something you had planned on Saturday. You don't want to have to plan it. What's your reasoning behind it? Is that kind of
Yeah.
family time? That's what I've always kind of thought about Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday is my day of a variety of events.
Catching up
Just
from the
me.
work week too.
This is like business.
Yeah.
I like the, I don't know.
Tuesday it is?
I like the evening. That's just my vote, but, so I'm kind of with
I like the evening weekend work too,
I'm here either way.
Right, yeah, same here.
So there's that.
Cool. Okay, so we'll keep it in mind if, we'll discuss it further, and if anyone starts to feel like a Saturday would be okay, maybe we can work that out somehow, otherwise we'll just stick to Tuesdays for now and just take it as it comes. And I'm glad you brought up that it was hard to find, because that happened to me back in November as well, and I live in Gilbert, so. Yeah, it's a little dark over here, and we were actually discussing changing the location. It can be really close to this area. We don't know the available venues yet, but if people have ideas or anything, it's probably not something we could change tonight, I don't think, but maybe think about that. And does anybody have any ideas right now?
Another restaurant like we used to do. So we could have drinks and food if people want to sit there.
So there's
That's where
SoCal
we're
Fish
going.
Tacos, there's Joe's Barbecue, there's just
We gotta find a
downtown
place that has a
Gilbert.
banquet room that we can sit this amount of people in.
I really like Postino's. Yeah, I mean, there's a million venues.
Postino's
Quite
has
honestly,
a
I mean, we
open
can
area.
look into that, but how do you guys, let's ask them how they feel about this.
Would you guys be open to moving somewhere nearby, where maybe we can get a drink and eat and kind of a little bit more relaxed, a little more open?
VFW hall, something like
The
that.
VFW, we asked them, or is
No,
that
the American Legion, we asked, and they turned us down, and I thought it was cute that these guys said yes, because we're 1 block away. All I wanted to do was just, where I walked by there the other day, and they were all hanging out drinking, and I was like, the safer choice last Tuesday. Come on down. They let us in the historical museum. So the fact was, it was so exciting for me to get into the museum when we got in last year. I thought it was a neat venue. It's a landmark for Gilbert, and it would kind of ruffle the feathers of our local lawmakers to have us in here. And I think it's neat. And they've actually given us the keys over the course of the year. And it's the one lady that's been the one employee of this place. All else is nonprofit. She's the one employee, and she proved that she's not, I don't believe she does, partake. However, she must know something. It's touched her life in some way, because she was very open doors with us. It's just exciting. However, it could be time, to move on, have some more fun. Because it is a little clinical and a little quiet.
Could I just say, I like both ideas. This idea I like, actually, I remember when I first got the flyer for it, and I thought, how did they get into Gilbert Historical Museum? It really did provide, for me, a sense of professionalism and that sort of thing, and legitimacy overall. However, at the same time, I definitely love food and beverages, and so just wanted to.
How many people have been to the meetings though where it's in a restaurant? That's what I want to ask. Okay, because it's totally different. I mean, as long as it's a decent place, it's not, just a dive.
And quiet enough.
And a lot of people, I think, are more, they'll come out if they have something to drink and eat and they'll talk.
They're more comfortable if they can happen upon a result. Oops, I tripped into an oil meeting. It's not, I just had to come in here.
Coming in, it's the same kind of like, you
Yeah,
got
that
a little bit of, credibility.
That's what we
One
had.
spot before,
Yeah.
was, they closed. They even we reopened for our last meeting. They opened up at the bar and everything. It was really, really nice.
Cafe
Oscar and his
Posada
wife,
was
yeah,
our
Cafe
old
Posada.
place, and it was wonderful. They had a meeting room, where it fit 30 of us, Ron or so, and it was really a nice, cozy place, and it was quiet enough, so we can look around.
So yeah, a couple ideas right off the top that I'm thinking of. If we were going to move into a restaurant setting, Postino's, a good place, nice open air area. SoCal Fish Taco, obviously the same, nice open air area. And then the coffee shop. I don't know if anybody's been to the coffee shop. The one right by Joe's Farmhouse. Joe's Farm. Yeah, Joe's Farm.
Well, that doesn't have a lot of seating.
Does it?
Does it? Have you
Yes.
looked? Oh, in the back.
It's got a good amount.
No kidding. That's a cute little place.
Indoors too?
There is indoor as well.
It has a back indoor?
It has an indoor area, not as big. I mean, maybe just about as big as that seating area there. But then in the back, there's a good amount of area.
I used this place, she's put an A-frame sign out at the street with an arrow.
We actually have one in there. It's just a matter of getting here on time and setting it up. We have to get here an hour ahead of time to set everything up. It's a lot after work, I think that's why Mr. Inman was kind of like, if we do Saturday, we'd have a lot more time to, so it wouldn't be a panic after work, for us.
I wrote down that would be my job to put the A-frame out there.
Ah.
I think that's a really good idea.
If we stay here.
Or wherever we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing, I mentioned some of my goals earlier that I have with my position, and to go into a little more detail, although I don't want to take too much time, my business idea. So I discussed that perhaps they could have a meetings card or the email list or something like that. Well, there would be incentive for them to do this. For example, we have an email list right there, and so at the bottom of the email list in the signature, we could say a special thanks to our contributors and put just a little blue link, and if anybody clicks it upon their free will, then these businesses who decide to support us would be able to have their business logo, or maybe the link would go to the website or something, or actually we have a sponsors page on our website, and then you could then go to our different contributors and sponsors websites. So basically, their incentive in all cases will be exposure from Norml, and there's different levels. I'm still working on it. I hope to present to you guys next meeting exactly kind of what I'm thinking of doing, and then I would like to hear all of your feedback and renovate it and see what we can do, and then from there forward, I'm going to go ahead and start. So that'll pretty much be on the business end. I do want to let everybody know, I'm not an expert in cannabis. I'm not an expert in being on a board. I'm not in any of these. When I got here, I was already comfortable with cannabis. I actually had a personal transformation with it. I went from hating it to liking it. Hated it for 23 years. Now I've liked it for 3 years. So still a little bit unbalanced there. But it really, gave me the slingshot into reality when I decided to go ahead and accept the facts and really look at everything again without the blinders on. And it gave me a whole new motivation, and I've kind of had that stuck with me the past 3 years, and I didn't really seek an outlet to do something to, invoke change. So when I came here, I just felt automatically comfortable, and it was great. However, although I'm not an expert, and although I'm still learning, I will do my best within my experience to answer your guys' questions. If I can't speak to something, I won't, and I will let you know that. As well, if you guys have ideas, or if you guys need help with your own ideas or anything, feel free to come to me. I'm not just here for Norml. Obviously that's what we're here for, but I'm also Robert. So, like I said, I'm open. Like, if you guys want to talk to me about anything, it's fine. Like, I'm business-minded, etc. So just feel free to shoot ideas at me, and we can collaborate and whatever. And, I really look forward to getting to know you guys and interacting with everybody. My idea is to encourage the membership and donations. I haven't spent a lot of time, to be honest. However, I did think of an idea that I haven't presented to the board yet, so I will now. When we pass the donation box around, what I was thinking is that the board could actually match the crowd fund. So if 40 bucks ended up in here, then we could split up the 40 bucks between the 5 of us, however we need to do it based on our personal situation. And maybe that would encourage people, everything you give, we give, so it's equal. We're not just asking you, we're also giving, we're also trying to encourage and motivate and include ourselves in that idea, not just say that it needs to be done. So like I said, I haven't brought that up to anyone here, but that's something I would like to discuss. And I'll keep my ideas along those lines. I don't want to create some system or idea where I think everybody should have to give donations and all of this. I think we should work together, and I think that it's a group effort. Yeah, I guess my last note, I'm still working out some of the details on my contributors model. The businesses that I would like to hit, and I would like your guys' ideas as well. I'm going to start with businesses who are probably more open to cannabis in general, because I have to go there physically and as Norml, and I can't hit like everywhere. So what I want to do is start with a certain amount of categories that are like-minded. So what I've thought about personally would be smoke shops as an obvious one. Also, hookah lounges, I think, is somewhere where maybe not very many people have spent a lot of time with these ideas. When you look up the term smoke shop online, hundreds of cigar shops come up. And if these business owners are forward-thinking, they should have the ability to decide, well, I'm selling cigars, maybe they sell cigarettes, I'm not sure on the situation, but perhaps they can also sell cannabis when the time comes. So I would like to hit the cigar shops. Also, alcohol stores, they usually sell tobacco, so they should have a similar incentive to sell cannabis. And then finally, dispensaries, because it's not just about hitting the business end. We also want to support patients and have patients come up to their dispensary and say, oh, look, they got a Norml sticker on the window. That's pretty cool. They must be affiliated with Norml somehow. Maybe they'll feel more comfortable, or maybe they'll go in and say, hey, what's with the Norml sticker out front? You know, so you never know. So the 5 categories I have so far: smoke shops, hookah lounges, cigar shops, alcohol stores, and dispensaries. So if there's anything else that you guys think is themed within that, yeah.
Munchies stores?
What's that?
Munchies?
Yeah.
Convenience stores? That
Yeah.
would be ideal.
Okay. Yeah, we actually had Chiba Hut at our Harvest Fest, and that was awesome.
Tattoo shops,
Oh, good one, thank you.
and I got a bunch of friends that own.
Awesome.
Hipster fashion wear.
Okay, yeah, like over on Mill, there's a couple places. Yeah.
Yeah. Places that would stock Mary Jane smokewear would be the kind of places that you'd be looking for.
Zia
Record
records,
stores, yeah.
record shops, music.
Taco Bells.
Only at 2 a.m.
24
Yeah,
hours.
it's true. The place is
You'd
open
be
past midnight.
surprised.
I think wellness centers, masseuse, massage therapists.
Yeah.
And alternative wellness.
Yoga studios,
Yeah,
all yoga studios.
Sprouts.
Yeah,
Sprouts.
they're a little.
Right on the board.
If you could just stick it in there and stick it on the window yourself.
Did you have one?
There ain't no harm in that. It's not illegal because it's a removable.
Absolutely.
Just keep in mind, folks, whatever used to be a prejudice isn't necessarily going to be a prejudice next week. This public opinion on this issue is changing like right before our very eyes.
So libraries are good. Home Depots.
The police
Anywhere that
station.
you can.
If you want, yeah, anywhere that's public, but if you want
Think
the
you have-
permission so it doesn't get removed, that's all.
Yeah,
Bars?
start just like.
What about bars?
What was that?
Bars?
Bars, yeah, actually. I did not even think about that.
I'm sure a lot of them are 10.
And that's a great idea because they may split off their business to have a cannabis bar if they can do that, so.
Okay.
One of the things that I find fascinating about this whole thing that's going on right now, like what you said, is that they basically it's becoming that part of our job is not just to get it legalized and free. It's also to kind of then what to do with it, because this could happen really fast. And so there's a lot we can do with it, a lot we can push this. Starting to think like this.
And
I agree.
tentacles, different tentacles into different parts of the community. All of us doing something for all of us, you know.
What about nurseries? Landscape.
Yeah, let me write it down.
There's, all they can do is say no.
They'll give $100 to put their name on the website.
There's that garden.
Yeah, for support, they will.
Did you have an idea?
And right now, a lot of companies
These
want to jump on the bandwagon.
Oh, yeah, the red box?
It's good.
Oh, yeah, I heard. Yeah. Yeah, good idea. So maybe look at where other places are placing things like this.
You got a greeting card, Judy?
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on from that. I've got plenty of ideas there. Thank you all very much for that. The last thing we had just discussed a little bit, we were going to start brainstorming on the idea of having a chapter collaboration meeting where we can get all the Norml chapters together into one meeting. And maybe it wouldn't be monthly, I'm not sure yet, but that way we can all discuss what are our struggles, what are our accomplishments, how can we help each other, how can we network. So what do you guys think about?
It's gonna happen.
Oh, it already is?
Yeah, next Wednesday, down at the Deuce in Phoenix.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because we'll have, hopefully you will be there to talk about Gilbert, and we'll have Peoria there, and we're actually doing some new things in Sun City, really exciting news coming up very soon. We'll be announcing next week, next Wednesday. And I hope to go forward with that as a collaboration meeting during my time as state director, because I think it's important for all our chapters to get together and have a place to come together and just talk about what we're all doing
How many chapters
in
are
our
there, Kathy?
all separate sectors. What was that, sir?
How many chapters are there?
Currently, there are, well, excluding Tucson, right now there's just, well, Phoenix is forming, as you know. You've got this Phoenix forming, and then we've got our chapter, and we've got Norml and Peoria is actually growing also. They're forming. 3 actually really, it's kind of just all in the works right now, because what we're trying to do is have a real base in each chapter. We've had lots of folks pop up as a sub-chapter over the last year. And what happened is, they had folks they were relying on to help them, and that kind of fizzled out. And I know how that goes. It's hard. It's hard to get a good team, and that's why we are relying. We're falling back, like Norml has suggested, on Robert's Rules of Order, so that we can get these 5 places, these 5 positions in place, so we all have folks working together and oversight in each chapter. So while some of the chapters are on board and they are gathering people and trying to form these 5 things, they're in the works. And other ones are just going, I don't have time for that, and they're abandoning. So we're kind of, we've also got a contact still in Cochise County. Our contact in Cochise County has been awesome. We made bracelets for Norml so that we can go ahead and sell these. And, they're a contact down there. Occasionally they have a busy meeting, and it's nice. And these folks that want to remain as a contact, I think we may still have a fellow in Flagstaff that's staying on, but he's got other things he's working on. All these chapters right now, we're all in transition. Of course, Tucson's solid. We're solid now because we've got our 5 members, and that's what we need to go forward. No one person can do anything by themselves. I certainly know that. And when you wear too many hats, it gets, what would you call it?
Exhausting.
Not exhausting,
Water
but
is murky.
the water's murky, but what I meant is it gets spread too thin. So there's no good focus, and that's why we're trying to take some of the things, I'm trying to take some of the things that Norml has taught us to focus on, like the voter awareness, like the real patient advocacy, the consumer advocacy that we're supposed to be there for. And I'm going to work on those pointed things while we grow these chapters in our own little areas. And especially, we really need a strong footing in Capital City. So we're looking for, folks to really just want to step up for a community organization and understand that it's a little bit of a thankless job. It's definitely a pay-free job. That's something that folks need to know. You're not going to get paid. You are volunteering your time for this, for Norml. And it says it right in the chapter setup. If you go to norml.org, it says if you think you're going to capitalize on a Norml group, it's not going to happen. This is all volunteer. So if you're willing to give of yourself for this cause, for the Norml people, for the regular guy, nominate yourself for Phoenix. Nominate yourself, or nominate someone you really think will do a good job, because we need a solid group there. We've got some great people in Sun City and Peoria who are getting their things together also, so we have representation for sure on the west side. We've got this solid representation in the middle. We've got lots of great interest for Phoenix. So we're kind of covering Capital City. Got a contact down south. We've got a great chapter in Tucson. Everybody knows our original chapter, AZ for Norml in Tucson. And, we've got a couple interested up north. We've got this fellow interested in Kingman, but he's doing so much that he's all over the place. And we're so glad that he is. Thank goodness he's all over the place. We'll hear from him soon. But the Norml chapters are forming. And, as long as we're on this solid footing of the Roberts Rules, I really think this is what's going to help us and get us really fired up across the state. So I'm fired up. I'm excited.
Me too. Just kind of to carry on from that, I was also going to talk about, finally, like I said, I'm learning. And everything that I learn, I'm going to take the good and the bad and learn from the bad again and store the good away. And what I hope to come away with in the next couple of months is the idea of a model that's starting to work. Donations are starting to work. Memberships are coming. The meetings are getting bigger. Maybe it's only by 5%, but it's happening. So that I can track this pattern, because although I'm here in Gilbert Norml, I'm also Norml Arizona, I'm also Norml National. So what I hope to do with what I learn here is to go to other chapters and to help get other people involved in forming other chapters by saying, look, here's this simple model, you can be trained this and that. It's not so much of they kind of have to start from scratch and figure out what they're doing. I'd like to create something that people can look at and pick and choose from, and maybe it'll help them get started, maybe it'll help get their foot in the door with this. And another thing, too, is the main reason I want to expand the meetings is because people may come from Chandler, they may come from Mesa, they may come from Ahwatukee, they may come from all over the place, and eventually there may be 20 people from Mesa and 20 people from Chandler, and they may see how this works and go, you know what, this isn't all that difficult. Maybe I should just start one in Mesa so I don't have to drive to Gilbert all the time. Maybe I should just start one in Scottsdale so I don't have to drive to Tempe all the time, or whatever the case may be. So that is also one of my goals with every everything that I learned here is to expand Norml as a whole. Thank you.
Excellent.
And by the way, I think that wraps up all the Robert's Rule stuff.
Excellent.
Do you want to bounce back to the treasurer and talk about maybe some donations and send that sucker around?
All right, yes. As we've been talking
It's
about.
been fun time tonight.
Yes, I love this time. As we've been talking about, it takes money for ads, for events, for everything and anything, and miscellaneous, these things. So you can send this around, give what you can, if you can.
And then
it's
don't forget
always
these, Shiloh.
Very appreciated.
And don't worry, there's always the next time.
Those are color.
They
Those
are
are primo.
They're the primo, that's right.
Top
Yeah, I mean, should we go ahead and get back?
You're ready for it.
Yeah, I have my notes. All right, it is time to open it up. Okay, so we're going to move into open forum. So basically, we do have Michael here who has some stuff to say, so he'll come up and show us what he's got. And then after that, if anyone would like to introduce themselves or discuss some of the things we've talked about further or anything, we'll go ahead and take the opportunity to do that. So, Michael. Yeah, I'm not great at introductions.
I'm going to do it right. Everyone, please welcome Michael Weiser, who has been, did I do it right? I did it right this time, right? Okay. Michael Weiser, who has been all over our cities, working hard to free cannabis. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm the legislative liaison for Safe Arizona. That's the people who work at the state capitol on trying to change marijuana. Well, let me rephrase. Some of the people who work at the state capitol on trying to change marijuana laws. One of the things that I've come to learn as I'm working on this is that there's a lot of different people who are contributing to this cause. This is as big as like abolition. It's as big as suffrage. So no one person or one group is really owning it, and they start acting like they are. They're getting confused. So I'm really proud about what I'm doing at the state capitol, but there's other people I want to be sure to acknowledge as I get that set up. But to find out a little bit about what I am doing, I should have something here. This is what I'm looking for. Some people are familiar with Culture Magazine. I'm going to pass a bunch of stuff around. Will you help me with this? Sure. So that's a Culture Magazine article about my work in using politics to change Arizona policy on marijuana. My day job is I'm a congressional candidate for U.S. House of Representatives, Congressional District 4, which means that I'm basically a homeless person that travels around the state. Trying to have enough money to get to my next place. For example, I'm here now because this afternoon I gave a speech in Scottsdale where they paid me $50 so I can get home. Hint, hint. God, don't be afraid of asking for money, because if you really want change, it's going to cost money. We're going to get the campaigns that we pay for. Okay. Cynthia and I have talked about that a lot. Now, I wanted to kind of focus on a few things so I didn't just like go on forever. Safe Arizona was founded thanks to Norml in Sierra Vista in March of this last year. I came from the northern end of the state. Dennis Bolke came from the Phoenix area, and Robert Clark came from Tucson. We all went to Sierra Vista and said, let's start doing something to work on changes. Now, Safe Arizona is most famously the people behind Marijuana Initiative, which you've probably heard about people signing for. Of course, I encourage you to do that. But I knew that we needed somebody that was going to work with politics. Since I become political over the last several years, I'm a former history teacher. Before that, I was a poet and plumber and all sorts of things. Knew we needed people who would be political. Having come off the 2012 election cycle with my wife running for state senate, me running for U.S. House of Representatives, we had met a lot of people, so it was possible to start talking to the legislators. And solstice of 2012, I talked to my state senator, who had just defeated my wife. And she's a doctor and didn't even know about the endocannabinoid receptor system. And yet she was making laws governing marijuana and didn't even know that it's part of our cellular metabolism. It became obvious to me I needed to work harder, and so when educating our legislators, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. So why should we have those people uneducated, throwing us folks in prison over stuff they could know better about? The discovery of the endocannabinoid receptor system is from 1992, so there's plenty of time to where it should be in common knowledge. The only reason it's not is, I believe, intentional. So I want to focus on 3 different developments since starting in 2012. I've now talked to, well, as of today, 42 different representatives or senators here in the state, and we've accomplished some things that I'm pretty proud of. One of my favorite, the State for Arizona, in addition to writing the Citizens Initiative, Dennis Bolke also created this bill that's in the House right now. It's HB 2474. I get that into the camera there. I wish I had a better cover sheet, but I'll get one. It's a great prop. Get all beat up as a bill. You can pass that around too. This is a bill that is designed to end felony sentences for possession cases under 2 pounds. I don't know if any of you are familiar with, like, perhaps growing a plant, but if you had a dick sheriff who decided to, like, pull the whole plant up and leave the dirt on the roots, wow, you're in the 2-pound range before too long. Count the stalk and the roots go against you. So this is a reasonable figure. It's also a natural breakpoint in existing state statute. This bill is being brought by Representative Mark Cardenas, who is out of LD 19. And ended up getting it introduced last week with 12 different sponsors. I want to pass this around next. Most of you guys are going to live in 17, 16, 12. This is the southeastern corner of the valley. But that's your representatives and where we currently believe they stand based on these interviews or public statements. We're still working on that, and I'm going to refer to that in a little bit. Now, something else that I've used, because I wear the donkey hat with pride, I've been working within the Democratic Party trying to push what we can do. You notice the picture there. I'm playing with the donkeys, right? Yeah. So, starting 6 months ago, since I'm the vice chair of the State Progressive Caucus, we started introducing the idea of marijuana, of cannabis reform as part of something we thought the Progressive Caucus should do. 2 years ago, when I went to the January 12 meeting, and they were talking about all the different categories of what they wanted to address, unemployment and hunger and foreign and treat, I raised my hand and said, about cannabis reform, and then, dope. Next, totally ignoring us. So, this past Saturday, at that same caucus, I'm now the vice chair.
Yeah.
That woman's gone. I got nominated to be the co-chair, but I'm really busy with what we're doing right now. That afternoon, I gave a speech, which I was trying to get queued up for you guys. Hopefully, you'll see it. Just type in my name, Michael Weiser, Arizona, and you'll see the speech that I gave. Pretty much wearing the same stuff. I've watched it since then. The laughter. Yes. If I say something that sounds like it, is that weird? Does he think it's supposed to be funny? Yes. I'm a former political humorist, so I still do a lot of I hope they're jokes. Satire. Right? But, so I gave the speech at the Arizona Democratic Party to the entire body. At 3:18 in the speech, I started talking about marijuana. You can hear the audience erupt. You can hear them calling for support. And that afternoon, this Saturday afternoon, the Arizona Democratic Party voted as mass as a resolution to support the legalization of marijuana and the efforts of Safer Arizona to push for that change. So your state Democratic Party is ready to stand up on this. That's something that I'm particularly proud of. Now, another thing that we're working on, this is cute. I need this one back for sure. So those of you who see the bill, it's called the harm reduction measure, right? So we're down at the state capitol. At another Norml meeting, Kathy and I were talking about, well, maybe we should have a big demonstration on the opening day of the state capitol. So we actually did that. If it looked like hundreds of people because it was all these different protest groups all mixed together. It could have been ours.
Tabor looked great.
Yeah.
I want to say that I was down there. I was able to meet with a couple I got lucky. I ran into Sheriff Joe, still don't have that appointment.
You betcha you don't.
But I will.
The name of the bill is the harm reduction measure. What's the pen say?
I forgot already.
Yeah. Harmless.
Marijuana harmless?
Marijuana harmless?
Again. Question mark on it.
Think again.
Think again. So, I'll tell you what. I've been working on an awareness that we're actually people, and if you have your cards, you're allowed to. But on.
Are you allowed to have it in the House of Representatives?
I had a medical.
We do have some supporters on both sides, on the Republicans and the Democrats, even though we have people that are working against us.
And the law.
And this bill has a chance to become law, and felony sentencing has a chance to become law. We get on February 12th, I'm meeting with the Speaker of the House and the majority 474 go to Judiciary and Public Safety, which is where we thought it would go, which is where we wanted to go, even though that's a really tough couple of committees because they're headed by Amy Farnsworth in Judiciary, anti-drug crusader, and Justin Pierce in Public Health, who is... Did I say wacky? Can you say that? No, I didn't say that. Thank you for not laughing at me not saying that he's a lackey.
What?
Ah.
Oops.
Young man. Okay, so back to the point.
Hecklers.
So on February 12th in the morning, I'm meeting with Peter Chintala and Andy Tobin's office and have lined up 4 potential supporters on the Republican Party, people from the other side that are willing to talk to us about this issue. I know that we wish that this was like bipartisan. Folks, it's not. It's not. The Republicans are used
They want to give it a whirl. Give them some info to take with them, if you're brave enough to go down.
If you're brave enough to go down. And here's the thing, I just got to repeat this. A year ago, there was nothing going on. And then we decided there might ought to be something going on. And now there is. It's not comfortable. It's not easy. And you don't even have to worry about whether you're going to get paid, because that's not what it's about. This is you catch on fire, you go, it's rewarding, it's exciting, and there's a certain amount about like being a hero, changing America for the good. That's a real kick that's better than any I've ever had.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
I'm with you.
And, if you have questions, I can take it from over there as well as I can from here. Sorry.
Do you know anything more about Ruben Gallegos?
Yes, I have a copy of it. It hasn't been introduced as of Sunday. It may have been introduced today or
it was planning to
or yesterday. So I didn't know whether it had been introduced yet, but I have a copy of it. It's based on Colorado's full regulatory package. Some interesting background. Cynthia and I were some of the first people that he met with after he announced it, and then went off to the National Legislative Committee meeting. Gallego met with representatives from states all over America to discuss policy strategy for introducing this. In particular, he met with